you're in the cut with Slidercuts. I'm looking rough. Let's get straight into the cut. I'm gonna give myself a drop fade today. It's a haircut I haven't really given myself before. So yeah, come with me and let me try explain to you what I'm doing, and hopefully it comes out all right. If you like what you see, then don't forget to subscribe, because I'm gonna be putting up weekly videos teaching you something about barbering or business and so on. Let me brush it out. Afro comb. I've got my wall cordless detailer. They are 0 gap. And I'm gonna take the line just above the ear, but literally just above the ear. And I'm gonna drop it down around the back. Because it's a drop fade, so you want the fade starting a bit lower. I'll probably just do one side for you guys on camera, because yeah, I've got like just about 15 minutes now before my first client comes in of the day. Now I'm gonna do number 3 on the top with the grain. So number 3, close number 3 with the grain. Now, some important things you need to know when you're cutting your hair. Very important things you need to know, which are, my hair is slightly lighter there. I know that, right? You can kind of slightly see it, right? It's slightly lighter. So when I go over it, I don't just go harsh over it. I kind of I'm always mindful of that. So I kind of go around it. When I come to it, I kind of go up and kind of just leave that area. And that's very important, something that you should know as well when you are cutting other people's hair. Number 2 on the sides. So this is number 2. I'm going with the grain on the sides, because I don't want it to be the same level as the top, and I still want it to be darker on the side. So number 2 on the sides, 1.5. And what I'm doing is now lower. So I did a number 2 all around there, all around here, right? But now down here, I want to flatten the area. So where I want the fade to be, obviously the whole thing is going to be faded, but I just want to flatten this area to get this flat. This will make it easier to fade. So with a 1.5, I'm just low down here, just saying, okay, where do I want the main fade to be? Like, you know. So I'm just flattening that area, combing it out. Cool. Get the number 1. Open one, sorry. And now I'm just gonna flatten that area further. Close it, close one. And look, I'm just flattening the area where I want the main fade to be, because the whole thing's gonna be faded, but there's gonna be a part where it's faded, like that's where the main fade goes, you know, where it's gonna fade to skin. So I'm flattening that area. Same thing, where it drops down at the back. And the reason why I'm doing it like this is because it'll make it a lot easier, me just getting this area flat, because now it's at number 1. Now, so I can just kind of focus on just fading out this area. Now, before I do that, let me brush it out. Comb it out. I can see that it's quite harsh here, where it's fading from the bulk of hair, the number 2 to the number 1. So I'm gonna take the 1.5 and just go over that area to make that kind of like gradation a little bit smoother. Or the gradients. I think gradients is the word. All right, further now. Open blade. It's just the open blade now. I'm just gonna flatten this area at the bottom. Just look at this technique I'm using. This is a drop fade. Now just at the bottom, I'm flattening it. Number 1, I'm just gonna go from underneath the skin line, and I'm gonna create my invisible line. Important, create your invisible line. So your invisible line is the line which you won't go above. So wherever I put that invisible line, which is here, that means that when I go with the number 1, up from underneath the skin line, I'm gonna go through to the invisible line, and at the invisible line, I flick out. Make sure to flick out. It's always important when you're doing a fade that you flick out. If you don't flick out, then you're gonna create other lines. You're gonna go straight up, stop, then you create another line. But we're trying to fade it, so make sure that you go through and flick out. So, number 1, underneath the skin line, come through, flick out. Flick out. I can't even see what I'm doing at the back, I'm just guessing. That's a bit dangerous, but you know, what we do. through and flick out. Comb, comb, comb. Now, open blade, same thing, invisible line. I'm gonna bring that invisible line a little bit lower than where it was before. So the invisible line was there before, just gonna drop it down ever so slightly, then come from underneath the skin line, up, and flick out. You can see it's fading out already. Obviously that area there needs to be faded, but look. I'm gonna close the lever a little bit, then drop down a little bit lower so the skin line comes, the invisible line comes a little bit lower. Go from underneath the skin line, come up and flick out. Gonna close the lever a little bit more, then literally where the skin line is, I'm gonna come from underneath it, get to the skin line. As I just get to the skin line, I'm gonna flick out. Because now I'm just flicking out the skin line that I originally created. And just light flicks. Then I'll do exactly the same thing on the back. Obviously I can see there's a line there, you probably guys can see it. I'm gonna go over that. I'm gonna do the same thing at the back. I might not talk this through because I've already explained to you what I've done over there. So I'm just gonna do exactly the same thing I did on the side. Create my invisible line, but the line needs to drop down a little bit. The invisible line will drop down a little bit. Take the number 1 off. The open blade, come through the skin line and flick out. Close the lever a little bit. Doing exactly the same thing as I did on the side. Oh, I think I went a little bit too high there. I've been a bit hasty, but you know, mistakes happen. I'll tell you that, guys, as well. Important thing to know. Mistakes happen when you're cutting your hair. Mistakes happen when you're cutting someone else's hair. That's just life. So, you try not to make mistakes because just, rectify it. All right. So now, this area here needs a lot more blending. You can see it, it's just looking a bit harsh. So I'm gonna start again. This is an important tip. A very important tip is learning to start again. When you get to a place where it's like, okay, what do I go from here? What do I do? Just start again, start the whole process again. So what I mean by that is, where I started before, closed 1.5. Let's just go through the hair. I'm going with the grain, following the direction the hair grows in. And just constantly going over it, smoothing over that area. Number 1, the open one, sorry. Going over that area. I'm just starting the process again. A very important thing for you guys to know. Sometimes just start the process again. Close it to a closed 1 right now. I'm just going over the area with the grain. So notice I'm not doing anything that's actually so kind of like, it's not rocket science what I'm doing. I am just starting again. So when you get stuck, it's very important, the idea just to learn, okay, where am I going? What am I doing? Start again. It starts to blend a lot more, right? You can see it, right? And all I'm doing is just starting the process again. Just the number 1 still. Number 1 still. Okay, now the open one. Looking at this area, I'm just gonna go through where I can see it's the line. I'm just gonna lightly flick that area. So open 1, go up and just lightly flick that area. Making sure to keep combing or brushing it out, whichever one you choose. Because it's flat on the sides, I can brush it because it's flat there. If it's up here, you can't brush it, you have to use the comb. I'm gonna have to do a bit of refinement at the end of this haircut, I can see. Another important thing as well is to actually work out the direction your hair is growing in, because sometimes people do fades and it's like, oh, the fade doesn't look smooth. And the only reason why it doesn't look smooth is literally because you're just brushing your hair or combing your hair in the wrong direction. So work that out, you'll see it. So right now I'm just working out the direction the hair is growing in, which is this direction. Cool. So yeah, close it till close one, and now I'm just gonna flick through. Lightly flick. Just lightly flick in that area. Hopefully I'm still on camera, you guys can see me yet. How long have I got left? Ooh, I have not got much time left, guys. I've got 5 minutes, so maybe I'm gonna do this side. Then I'm gonna have a half haircut for most of the day. And I will maybe shape myself up right now so you can see a shape up. And we might have to call that a wrap. Although I didn't fully show you the side, the back, sorry, but can you see the back? So I'm just using the 1.5 on the front, just reducing the front of the hair. 1.5. I want to bring it down slightly, but I don't want it to be like super low, but I want it to be slightly lower. It's your choice what you do. Some people might do a number 1 or 1.5, open 1. It's really your choice, but I still want it to be quite dark. So I'm just going to do the 1.5. And at the end I might change it and be like, okay, let me lower it a bit lower. I'm going to start in one point. Where I start, you're going to go up in a straight line. So look, another tip as well. People asked me this before. Why do I hold the trimmers like this? Why do I hold the trimmers like this and like this when I'm shaping up the sides? It's because when you hold the trimmers like that, right, what I find is it's kind of obstructing my view. I cannot see what I'm fully doing. I can do it that way, and I've done it that way loads of times, but I'm more likely to push my hairline back doing it that way. I find it a lot easier and a lot easier to see when I shape up like this and push away from the hairline. So, start in one part, push away from the hairline. Where you start that line, follow up in a straight line. It's something I've seen a lot of young barbers struggle with. Because what I see them doing is they start here, they lift up the trimmers, then they're over here, lift up the trimmers, then they're over here, and I'm like, no, stop. Just start in one place and just go up, little taps, following it up in a straight line. We're good right there. That's a nice, decent line. Then go from the middle, same thing, I tell them. Same thing. Press down, pull away from the hairline. And then just go across in a straight line. And this is a good first round. See, it looks cleaner. It's not the sharpest. It will be sharper. I'm gonna comb it out and go over it. But right now you've got something to go off. So it's just about making sure that where you start, you follow across in a straight line. Or where you start here, you go up in a straight line. Stop doing this thing where you do this and pick up the trimmers. And then you put it down here, pick it up. You're up here, pick it up. No, the best thing to do is little taps going across. So as you saw me do, comb out the hairline, dust off my face. Then look, I start from here, pull away. Then, little taps like a ruler, just going across, trying to stay in a straight line. And then, same thing here. I start, push away, and look, I'm just going up in a straight line to meet the top line. And the line is looking even cleaner right now. Because when you comb it out or brush it out, you'll see that the line comes out of place. And this is why it's important to do quite a few rounds when you're shaping up and to make sure that you shape up, comb it out, shape up, comb it out. Because you can make someone's hair look good when they leave the shop, but as soon as they comb it out or wash their hair, the shape up is gone. That's why it's very important that you do quite a few rounds. Shape it up, brush it out, comb it out. And then when you do that, same thing, look, I'm just doing the exact same thing. I'm gonna scrape the edge. Scrape the edge. Then same thing, start here, go up in a straight line. Hopefully you guys can see me. To meet the top line, the front line. I like it like this, but I want to get rid of the hair all here. So I'm just going to open blade, which you just flip. Now this is just preference about how you want the fade. I just don't want the hair underneath here there. So now I'm just open blade, close the lever a little bit, just fading out the excess hair here. Fade it, close it a little bit more. I can see little things like the fade here isn't smooth. It's okay, but it's not smooth. The way to get it smoother will be just combing it out and just going over it. This is called refining. Some people call it detailing. All you have to do in this stage is, like when you see like these heavy blotches, you just have to go over it with a gauge to reduce that area just ever so slightly. And you'll see that the area will become smoother. I wonder if you can see that it's becoming smoother. All I'm doing is just flicking out areas, looking at patches, looking at areas where I'm like, oh, okay, you know, that looks a bit heavy, that looks a bit dark, that looks a bit dense. So comb it out and just flick over it. So you just do a lot of this going all around. And this is called, I call this refining. Some people call it detailing, I call this refining. Because you're just refining the haircut. Because the haircut, as it stands, sometimes it's a decent haircut. It's like, oh, it's a good haircut. You know, no issue, it's a good haircut. So you just want to refine it. But I think I've got to end it there because my client is here. And it's time to start working on other clients. So I'm gonna walk around with, you know, looking like this on this side, then looking like this on the other side. Looking good on one side, so I just got to talk to everyone looking this way, be like, what's going on? You good? You good? And when they try to go this side, I'm gonna turn around like that, but you good? You're right, you're right. I just keep kind of turning to make sure all they see is this side. You've been in the cut with Slidercuts, just showing you how to do a drop skin fade on yourself. I didn't finish the haircut, obviously, but I showed you one side and showed you. And the whole point of what a drop skin fade is, look, is that it's darker up here, so the fade starts lower, so the fade drops down. So you're starting to fade from a lower place. So I want it darker up there, but I still want a skin fade, but I just want to start a bit lower. And that is a drop skin fade. If you have enjoyed it, then please subscribe to the channel because I'll be putting up videos weekly and I'll be taking requests from you guys on what you want me to talk about, what you want me to teach on, and so on. I said I'm gone, guys, but what I'm going to do quickly before I go, I'm just going to go over this shape up a little bit. Just stay with me. Just to make the shape up, I want the angle to be better. Because shape ups are about clean lines, but it's also about angles. So right now I'm just going over it a little bit to get the angle to a better angle, which I like, and to make it clean. Remember that shape ups are about clean lines and angles. You are shaping up someone's hair, so you're creating a shape for them. Much better. But also, different people like different shapes. Some people like the front of their hairline straight. Some people like it curved forward. So, you know, there's no real right and wrong. It's just more about preference. But yeah, this is how I actually like it. So yeah. Now I'm back into the cut because I've just been cutting my hair in between clients, doing little bit by little bit, little bit by little bit. When I finish a client, if I had a couple minutes, you know, now you can see me with no cape on because I'm like, whoa, I've got a few more minutes. Let me just finish this cut up. So over about 3 sittings, I finished this cut off camera, and this is how it looks. How do you think it looks, guys? This is a drop fade. This is the first time I'm giving myself a drop fade ever, and I took you through it, guys, and tried to explain what I was doing. You've been in the cut with Slidercuts. Don't forget to subscribe.